Hi, welcome to TEDx Kolkata, and I'm Debaditya Chaudhury. Today I'm going to talk about my life journey. We have always been told by our parents and teachers that we have to score great marks, we have to study hard to do something great in life. Of course, there's no substitute to education, but education and knowledge both are not same. You can be educated, still not be knowledgeable, and vice versa. You can be knowledgeable and not be educated. So I had always believed in not only studying from the books which are there in the syllabus, and studying beyond that. So we should always study everything that we see around us. We have to study people, we have to study places, and anything that you see around you, and I'm sure something will trigger your attention, and then nurture with love. And I found my passion in music. So when I was in St. Xavier's in my 11th standard, I met few friends and I joined my band Lokkhichara. And when I was in the second year of my college, we released our second album, Jibon Chai Charo Beshi, which became a phenomenal hit. And we were performing all over the country and in the world in front of the Bengali diaspora with my band, and we became very popular. So we were doing music, and I was a foodie since birth, and people like eat to live, I live to eat. And since childhood, what I did, I used to only stole tiffin boxes from my friends bag, and I used to eat. So when we were traveling with my band, so the primary objective of us was definitely to perform, but for me there wasn't one hidden agenda, and that was to check out the local eateries of those places around the world. And those days there were no Instagram or Facebook, so I used to come back to Calcutta and talk about those to my friends and family members. They used to wait eagerly for me to come back and listen to the stories. So I completed my college, and then I was doing my masters in business administration from IISWBM, and I got an opportunity to co-host a radio show in one of the most popular radio stations of the city, and the name of the show was Khete Khete Sekho. That means eat while you listen. So, and the show became very popular. In that show, I used to talk about those unusual small eateries around the world, around the city, and every part of the world where I used to go. And the show became so popular that we ran the show for 3 years. But I always wanted to do something for myself, something of my own, and of course in the food business. Now you'd ask me why Chinese and why Chowman. So I was born and brought up in South Calcutta in an area called Baliganj, and my neighbors were a Chinese family who used to own the oldest Chinese restaurant of the city called Kimwa. It's sadly it's not operational as of now, but but those were my good memories that I had. Every morning I used to get up with the smell of this Chinese cuisine, and I was only 6 years old when I first tasted my Chinese cuisine there. So, and from that time only, I thought that someday I'll open a restaurant and that will be Chinese. And that was the emotional part of it. But rationally, Chinese as a cuisine is the most popular cuisine in the world. You go to any part of the world, you don't get any other cuisine, but of course you'll get a small Chinese restaurant somewhere. So I thought of opening a restaurant, and then I thought of Chowman. Now, why Chowman? There were already so many Chinese restaurants in the city. Calcutta was the only place is the only place till now where we have the Chinatown in India, which houses a lot of Chinese restaurants. Also, we had many other Chinese restaurants around the city. Then why Chowman? Why another restaurant? So first of all, I was not very privileged to have a business background family. So I was a first generation entrepreneur. My father, everyone was a corporate, and first of all, in a Bengali family, I was a rock band musician. And then, secondly, I wanted to open a restaurant. Oh, that was a detrimental thing for my family. They said, no, you can never do it. But I was very passionate about food, and I was determined that I'll open a restaurant. I could save some amount of money and open my first outlet in a very humble way, 350 square feet outlet. So now coming back, what was the key differentiator? Why Chowman? So I studied, and I found out that the middle class gentry all over the world, they are heavy spenders on food. They spend a lot of money on food eating outside, but they will think twice before going to any five-star or any fine dining restaurant. They will think, how do I handle my crockeries? How do I handle my cutleries? What do I wear? How do people judge me if I go there? So Chowman was the answer to that. My concept was neighborhood fine dining. I would open a small outlet of Chowman with interiors crockeries, cutleries, food at par or better than any other five-star restaurant, but at very affordable pricing. I still remember 15 years back when I opened Chowman, the slogan, the advertising slogan was five-star food at one-star cost. And this concept, clicked a lot. From the first month only, we could hardly give any space, to the customers. There were customers walking. I don't know whether any of you have tasted that food. I mean, have been to that restaurant. It was a small, cozy restaurant, but we did havoc. So one after the other, we were bootstrapping. We were doing business one after the other restaurants. And Chowman was all about innovation. We were the first restaurant in the country to start the chopsticks, in the sense like we used to give chopstick for with all our delivery orders, even today. And we have a small instruction behind the chopstick, the packaging, where you can see how to use a chopstick, where you have a chance to learn how to use a chopstick. And then not only the dine-in, that time there was no aggregators like a Swiggy or a Zomato. So I thought of delivering food to the customers. Initially, those days I didn't have any budget, so I bought a second-hand bike and branded it very well and started with my delivery system. As I stand today, Chowman has got the country's biggest fleet of delivery, bikers. If you compare any other Chinese restaurant of the country, and we are present in cities like Calcutta, Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and in another few years' time, we will be in 17 other cities with 150 outlets. Maybe in 3 years' time, that's the expansion plan of the brand. So Chowman, as I said, was all about innovation. It's still about innovation. In 2018, when the Swiggy Zomato thing happened, and a lot of orders being delivered through them, so I found out that we had to pay a huge amount of commission. The customers were paying for the delivery. So why don't we open up and start our own app? Many friends, my family members, everyone discouraged me. They said, hey, you have already Swiggy and a Zomato. They're national players. Why do you have to open your own app? Why do you have to start your own app? So, but I decided to start my own app. I went to Ahmedabad, hired a very, very big agency, and they developed this app for me, the Chowman app. Today, Chowman app, again, is the country's only food app of a restaurant which has got more than 5 lakh active users who order from Chowman regularly. So tomorrow, if a situation come where there is no aggregator, there is no Swiggy, no Zomato, so it will hardly affect our business, because we already have the highest number of delivery fleets and we already have the app. So after a few years of Chowman, then me and my brother Shiladitya, we decided to open something else. I told my brother, who was a communication profession, let's do something together. And we launched our next brand called Auth 1590. So we went to Lucknow and to see what's happening there. And we found out that apart from the biryanis that we taste here, there's something called a galoti kebab, which we knew galoti was good, but in Calcutta, no one tasted galoti before. So we launched galoti kebab 13 years back in Calcutta, and I can proudly say that we make it popular in Calcutta. Even selling biryani on a handi, those concepts we got in Calcutta, and the brand became very popular. Then we got another brand called Chapter 2. Then recently we opened another brand called Chaudhury and Company. So currently we have 54 restaurants all across the country, and we're in a huge expansion mode. So hopefully within a couple of years, we'll be having 150 outlets as a whole, and we'll be present in 18 cities across the country. But when I was doing all this business, food business, especially the business where I am in, food business is not about only profitability. It's about your passion. If you're not a foodie, if you're not passionate about food, so I will not suggest anyone to get into the business. You have to love eating, you have to love feeding, then only you come to this business. And few things like there are a lot of people who one thing is very common among all the successful people around the world. One thing, that is their skills. They develop their skills before they are successful. And I will talk about, and I will share few skills, about 5 or 6 skills you must have if you want to do something, whether you want to do your business, whether you want to do a big job, anything that you want to do. So first is the communication skill. It is so important. People don't appreciate someone with great ideas. People appreciate when your ideas can be communicated. And great communication doesn't mean you have to speak a very good language, maybe a very good English, because I have many friends whose accent is better than Siri, but but they cannot convince anyone to with their idea. So Communication is just not a language or how you speak. It's how impactful you speak and how you can convince others. The next is the emotional control. The next skill you must master is emotional control, because it can break or you can build everything. Suppose you build a business for years, but in one moment of anger, it can all break. I have so many examples. You have to control your emotions. It is like when everything is going against you, you have to be steady and calm, and you have to know exactly what you have to say when you have to say. The third thing, and which is the most important thing I feel, is adaptability. Time is changing. So, there was a company called Kodak which used to manufacture films in the camera. Way back in 1970, they were $1 million company. Now, if you ask any students or any friends of this generation about Kodak, they would hardly know the name of the company also. They would know that Kodak is a filter in Instagram. That is the knowledge about Kodak. The company doesn't exist anymore because they didn't change with time. You need to change with time. This adaptability is so, so important. I had a friend of mine, way back, he used to deal in audio cassettes. And I told him, when this digital thing happened, why don't you change the digital thing? Why don't you upload your songs? He said, no, I'm sure whether be it digital, anything, people will still listen to audio, cassette. Now he's out of business. I wish he had, uploaded his songs in Spotify. Then he would have made money while he was sleeping. So that's the power of adaptability. Every moment you have to adapt to new changes, and you have to, change accordingly. Next is decision making. This is another skill you must possess, is decision making. I meet many of my friends who says that I'm still, planning to do something. I'm waiting for the right time. I'm waiting for the right opportunity. I'm waiting for the right market. Trust me, the best time was yesterday, and the next best time is today. There's nothing called tomorrow. You have to decide and go ahead. If you think twice, thrice, no, 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 no. I am not saying that you must take impulsive decision. No, your decisions must be very thought through and calculative. But you need to decide. You cannot just sit back and relax. The next skill you must possess is financial control. Financial control is something which is so, so, so important. Financial discipline. So I have many friends of mine who used to earn a lot of money a few years back, but they're still broke. But I know many who used to earn very averagely, but they still have money because they were saving. Suppose you save 10% of your income now, and you'll think it's a very small amount, but after 10 years, you'll thank your younger self that you have earned so much while you saved your money. So that is very important. Finally, the final skill that you must possess is execution. Many of us, we decide, we plan, we do everything, get our finances right, but we don't execute. We think we'll do it later on. We think that someone else will fund us. We'll think that someday I will do it. But execution is so, so, so important. If you execute it well, so sometimes I have seen many people, I have seen my friends, they have good ideas, great ideas. They share with me. They say, someday I will do this, someday I will do that. But next time I meet, they're saying the same thing. Yeah, I will do it. I will do it tomorrow. But it has become their lifestyle of planning things and not executing it. So I personally feel execution is the most important thing out of all the skills that you must possess. And there is no substitute to hard work. There's no elevator that can take you up. You have to climb your stairs up, and that is it. I'm sure you will definitely execute any plan that you have in mind, be it your fitness goal, be it your financial goal, be it your educational goal. You'll definitely have something in mind, and after hearing that speech, don't just say, okay, I love the speech. Just execute it. Execute it well. And all my best wishes to all of you who are watching this TEDx, and thank you very much.